Gosh dog it. Well, let's try this again. I just made a video up here and it didn't go through. But I guess it'll make it more pertinent for me to just streamline it, and get it done so I can get it uploaded. But I just wanted to just put out love and positive vibrations in the creation of this new channel I'm about to make. And it came from a conversation that I had with a beautiful young lady yesterday, and she was just telling me about her transition, how she became who she is, and how her wife accepted her for who she is, her family, her children accepted her for who she is. Excuse me. So I thought that was extraordinary. But in the midst of our conversation, we began to realize that our point of view isn't really being spoken on. It's not being represented right now. And that's unfortunate, because there's a lot of people, a whole lot of people out there who are confused, and they're not understanding who they are. They're not understanding why they may feel a certain type of way. And there's certain people in communities who have their points of views, but they're not that build. You know what I mean? Like, they're not that build. So because they're not that build, their point of view is external only. Oftentimes, you can hear the love in people's voice. You can hear whether they care or whether they're trying to distance themselves from a particular ideology, or or if they're compassionate and understanding to it. Now, I have many a mentor through YouTube and through people's actions and the work they put out artistically and intellectually, professionally, and academically, rather. And I just haven't come across. Matter of fact, I take that back. Tahuti Ma'ara is the individual who I've listened to a lot of his lectures. He's a Taurian. He's a Taurian solar seed, and I'm a Taurus as well, so I resonated with him immediately. And he's an individual who I've seen on numerous occasions. He may have a particular viewpoint, but he still has enough compassion and love in his heart to respect that other viewpoint, and then eventually do more research into that viewpoint. And then later on he'll come with a different point of view, and I respect him and appreciate him for that, because it's a lot. A lot of us are lost out here. Myself included. I was lost for a long time, but then I began to ask myself questions, began to ask the Lord questions, the Lord within me questions, and begin to get answers, and begin to get more and more answers. And that's what it's about. You get to a point where you have understanding on the inside. You have an understanding. You can stand on that and shine your truth, shine your being proudly. But a lot of folks, they're not able to get to this level. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of separation from other influences as well, which is something that a lot of folks they're not in a position to experience that. I was working on the road doing government contracting at the time, so it was I was already separated from everybody else, and then once I got off work, I would just go into my room and continue on studies where I left off yesterday. So it made it easier for me to separate myself and get more and more and more and more in tune with me, who I am, and then I had to go through this process of actually getting back grounded in the world. But I just said that to say that I'm just honored to have this privilege to maybe open people's eyes to another point of view, and to represent for those of us who aren't being represented. Because if we can get people to understand other points of views, then we can bridge these gaps, and we can begin to look at things holistically rather than looking at something as it's something else. Like, no, everything else that's outside of you is representation of what's inside of you. Everything. So with that being the case, then you shouldn't be looking at things as if with your nose turned up. You should be able to unbiasedly look at it and then say, well, that's interesting. I wonder where that's coming from, or I wonder how that relates to me. In essence, because it really does. Everything does. Excuse me for not having a shirt on. It's hot. I was eating my food, and I showed a picture of it in the earlier video, but I just had some kale lettuce and some eggs and avocado. I don't eat meat. I don't get to those other categories. I just choose not to eat meat. Even though I'm eating eggs, it's not, that's a fine line, but whatever, because it's about the understanding. It's about the inner understanding. It's about you having your own truth and you feeling out what works best for you. I wanted to shout out Orange Ankh 11 as well. She was a queen who I met, an empress I met on a while back, and I'm naturally an introvert, and I grew into being more expressive and more outgoing, and me just expressing myself through YouTube was a big step, a big challenge for me, because I didn't want to put myself in the position to be ridiculed. And now I've got to the point to where I'm going to put myself in that position intentionally, and I know my subject matter is going to be, you know, unorthodox and probably not accepted easily, but there's a lot of people that I have to stand up for because they're not being stood up for, and I get to a point where I'm not going to just wait for somebody else to do it. I'm going to go and do it myself and get it done, plain and simple. We have to raise our vibrations on this planet, and our vibrations are being raised. It's happening, you know, but there's a lot of people who seem to still be left behind, especially when you start talking about the ethnic communities. I'm a conscious individual. I guess there's a conscious community of people who are awakened to what's going on in the world. But still, in the ethnic communities, in the ethnic world, in the urban communities, it's still not being represented. It's still not being focused on. Like, you know, it's almost like everybody else is ascending or is in the position to ascend, but the Moors. You know, that's basically what's happening. And it's unfortunate, you know, it's unfortunate, but we're going to get past it, you know. We're going to move forward, and we're going to have heaven on earth. So this is pretty much just a fragment of what I recorded earlier, but I hope YouTube is able to upload it this time, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side. Blessed and bliss to you. Stay encouraged, keep pushing, you know that you are, you know, infinitely divine, infinitely blessed. You create your world, so watch your words, because your words, being made up of letters, people call this spelling. So in essence, your words are magic, because every word you use is a spell. So know that you're a grand wizard in your world. Create your reality. Create the love that you want. Create the peace that you want. Create the abundance that you want. There are many opportunities out here. Just don't give up. You know, I've been unemployed for quite some time, but I'm not satisfied in that. You know, I went to school and went and tried to make things happen. You know, it's about you just staying in tune with your higher self, or getting in tune with your higher self, and that way it's easy for you to go through these different changes and fluctuations in society. Because what was normal isn't normal anymore, and what people consider to be outrageous is going to be the new norm. That's just what it is. So, bless and love to you, and I'll stop here.